Say, how do you do and shake hands, shake hands, shake hands. Say, how do you do and shake hands, state your name and business. And that's manners. What has happened to manners? I think we forgot how to use them, or maybe we haven't been taught them. Well, today we're going to talk about manners and leadership.
Hi, I'm Carlin Holbrook. I'm a John Maxwell Team certified coach, teacher, trainer, speaker, published author, and influencer with more than 25 years of global leadership experience. If there's one thing I've seen firsthand time and time again, it's that the best leaders inspire others to follow their purpose and their passions, while the influence of a bad leader can literally tear down people's potential. Join me for a few sips of leadership tips that will help you become a better leader by first conquering the hardest person to lead, you.
I mean, if Tweedledee and Tweedledum from Alice in Wonderland get it, shouldn't the rest of us get it? I was inspired. Okay, when I go to my neighborhood coffee shop, which I have several of them, as you can imagine, I do love coffee. And there's so key differences, I think, in some of the way that people, deliver service to you, right? Like my favorite coffee shop, and I will give it a shout out, Vanessa's Coffee. She has a couple different stores. It's small business owned, but there's one right by my house in Lake Nona. Absolutely love it. The employees there are always super friendly, always say thank you, hello, how are you? Just really, really kind. And I will say a couple of the Starbucks around my house too. Again, really great service, always nice, always polite and kind. Ironically, I was at somewhere, I'm not going to even say it, and I asked an employee a question, and it was like I was bothering her because she wasn't fully in a costume or uniform and had a name tag on and doing her job, and just not nice, not polite, gave me very blunt responses to things. And I just thought, gosh, that's so rude. It's not mannerly. But more importantly, I think, you're on the clock. You're supposed to be serving guests. That is your job. If you want to be cranky in your own time, in your own house, that's on you. But then I recently went on a cruise, and I love cruising, especially shameless plug. I love the Disney Cruise Line. I'm not just drinking the Kool-Aid. I've talked about it before. I've been on lots of cruise lines, and I love the product, love the crew. It's not the crew that I had issues with. It was the freaking guests. Like, some of the guests were just so rude to crew members and just so entitled and so demanding, and would cut me in line. I was cut in line. I can't even tell you how many times, waiting for the restroom or waiting to, take a picture, or just being in a buffet line that clearly has a line. And, I know some of you are thinking, I've been around the world too. Not every culture understands queuing, right? Like, that's, I would say, primarily a Western type of notion. These were Americans, okay? So I can be forgiving when I know something is okay in another culture, but not necessarily in mine. Like, I'm a very empathetic person in a lot of ways in that sense. But no, this was no excuse. And not just that, it's just the demanding, the rudeness, and again, things that weren't wrong, just feeling like they were owed something. It was just this weird sense of entitlement. I was just really surprised. And this was from, grown people. It's like, this wasn't kids. Anyway, it just made me think. And we were, sitting on the cruise, and I was typing up some notes for leaderships. I'm working on my leadership book and newsletter. And I just thought, is it me that I've just gotten, maybe I'm older and crankier. I'm a Gen Xer, and I'm like, geez, in my generation, that would have never flown, or my grandmother would have killed me. But then there is just, you know what? No, it's an excuse. There is common courtesy that is, to me, a very respectful thing. Also, people are still not washing their hands after they use the restroom. I mean, I put that into manners, but also hygiene is part of manners too. I just feel like people who don't have manners to other people, they think the world revolves around them. And these are not, when I talk about manners and I talk about chivalry even and things like I don't mind if men open the door for me. I don't take it as like, oh, toxic masculinity, how dare you? I take it as just a very kind gesture from the opposite sex. Like, who cares? I've had females open the door for me. I open the door for other people. Like, it's just a nice gesture. I think what I started to think about was like, in our selfie generation, if you will, I think people are acting like the world revolves around them, that everything is about them, and I'm entitled to everything I need, I want. It's all about I and not we. And that is, I think, what's starting to play out in the way people act in public, the way people treat other people. My grandmother, so my husband and I talk about manners a lot because I don't think he has very good manners, mainly table manners. And my grandmother was hardcore manners, etiquette, protocol, like she was all the things. And it's funny, I think because my grandparents were such a strong influence in my life, they took care of us a lot. Um, my mom, I was a single, I can't talk. My mother, I was raised by a single mom. So my grandparents were heavily involved and watched us a lot after school and for days at a time when my mom took off and did crazy things. But anyway, that's a whole nother podcast. That's the nighttime edition of leaderships. I'm just kidding. No, but truly my grandmother like really instilled like proper acting proper, being proper. And a big piece of that is table manners. Like you do not blow your nose at the table. You do not put your elbows on the table. And it's because it's beyond knowing what fork and spoon and knife and stuff to use. And of course we did do that and have formal dinners and stuff as well. But it's really more about what, how you're eating quietly, not chewing with your mouth open. If you need to excuse yourself from the table, you ask to be excused. I mean, all the things. My husband has none of that. And so we kind of not argue, but I always give him crap for it. And then he reminds me, well, remember when we were in Hong Kong and it's okay to burp out loud in a restaurant there? Like that would have killed my grandmother, honestly. And so it's like, okay, yes, good point. But honey, we're not in Hong Kong and we're Americans. And so this is how we're going to act, is my retaliation. Like that's them. Again, I'll never forget the first time I had a meal in public in Hong Kong. And yes, when people chew with their mouth open and then they burp out loud and it's like a sign of like, yeah, that was good. I really enjoyed my food. It's like, I get the thinking behind it. But for me, it is funny because it's like my grandmother comes into my head all the time of like, oh my God, please close your mouth. I don't want to see your food. In fact, I think my mom would even say like, are you eating seafood? Because I don't want to see your food. Ha ha, bad joke. Anyway, but I feel like when it comes to leadership, you're like, Carlin, what does this have to do with leadership? It has everything to do with leadership because manners are not just table manners and hygiene and opening doors for people and such. It's also the way we conduct ourselves in meetings and with people and interactions. There's just some basic, I think, courtesy that we should be leading by example as leaders and for others, as well as, instilling into people so we can have more cordial conversations, more respect in the work environment, more respect for each other. Because I feel like that's gone out the door, especially in a society that loves to argue and, you're on this side, I'm on this side, unfriend me, I hate you. It's like we have gotten so emotionally driven about our politics and our beliefs and all of these things that we have forgotten basic core human respect, frankly, and quiet respect on things, and just the respect of, hey, I don't have to agree with you to respect you and respect the fact that you're allowed to have that opinion. That is freedom. That is, I believe it's God-given freedoms that we're allowed to have our minds spoken, speak our minds and have opinions and make choices ourselves. And again, like we should respect other people's, even if they don't agree with ours and they don't align with ours. Anyway, I did find something posted by the Success Habits on, I think it was on Instagram, 36 unspoken rules that everyone must know. And these aren't necessarily written anywhere. And they even said that. I remember my grandmother had an Emily Post book and a Miss Manners book and, there were protocol books, like very popular, especially back in the day, housewives, etc. And so it's funny, I've actually looked those up and I'm like, oh, editions actually still exist of those types of books. But these particular rules, and I am going to go through all of them because I think they're good ones. They're kind of unspoken rules, at least, and I will caveat at least, and I feel an American Western culture, but frankly, most of these I think are just human culture that we should just be better about manners with each other. So, all right, I'm going to go through 36 of them. hang tight or get something to write with. Number one, and again, no particular order, okay? Number one, don't check your phone while someone's talking to you. It signals that they just don't matter. Can I just tell you my biggest pet peeve of this is when people do that in meetings at work. I get that we're all guilty if you work in corporate life like I do. We're all guilty of multitasking because we're meetings, back-to-back meetings. How do you get stuff done? How do you answer correspondence, etc.? I am really trying to make a concerted effort to block my time, or if I am not going to be engaged in that meeting, then I shouldn't be at that table. But when it really, really is so disrespectful, rude, and frankly condescending and demeaning is when you're trying to present something or talk about something, and then clearly your leader's bored, or clearly somebody else in the room of higher rank than you starts to look at their phone because they're not interested anymore. Do you know how shitty, frankly, that just makes somebody feel? And if you're not interested, or if you have issues with it, why don't you just speak up? It'd be better, in my opinion, just to speak up, to say, hey, look, can we table this? Or can we talk differently about this? Or can we talk about this offline? Or I'm not sure about this. That's a respectful thing to do, is actually just be upfront in the conversation. I would much rather someone stop me, pause me, say, this is not a good idea, than just to go to your phone and it's like, oh, that's the signal. They're not interested or they don't like it. That's passive aggressiveness, and that is not leadership. Not cool. All right, number 2, never ask someone's salary, age, or relationship status unless you're invited to do so. I find this one funny because, I'll be honest, I ask people's ages sometimes because I don't know why we make such a big deal about age in society. Crazily enough, we're all going to inevitably, at least hopefully, age to the next year and the next year and the next year after that. But I wouldn't just ask random strangers or people I barely know, of course. But it is interesting when you hear a lot of younger people starting to compare salaries and stuff, and all it does is piss each other off, or they try to make sense of, well, why are you paid this and I'm not, and I'm paid that. It's a lot of things go into that. Experience, education, So and people want to be so equitable. Everything has to be the same. And I'm like, I don't want my salary to be the same as one of my peers who's worked 10 years less than I have. I mean, I want it to be individualized based on what I bring to the table, what my experiences are, what my education and such was. I don't want to have the exact same salary, So I feel like I've had to have that explanation with people and have that conversation with people, is stop talking about it. It's just nobody else's business. And all it does is create have and have not, and whining, frankly, about other people's salaries and such too. And then relationship status is always interesting because people are, I don't know if people even do this anymore on Facebook, it's complicated, or married or single, or, looking to mingle, whatever. But really, it's not anyone else's business either. So some of those kinds of very personal things, just let them go. All right, number 3, if someone shares a secret, protect it like it's your own. All right, who isn't guilty of gossiping? But the worst thing that happens, and it happens all the time, is somebody tells you something, and then you tell a friend something because you trust that friend, and you go, okay, but don't tell anybody I told you because I'm not supposed to be talking about it. Okay, now you're just gossiping. If somebody shares something secret and personal with you, and then guess what? They're going to do the same thing to someone else, and so on and so forth. So now something's not a secret anymore, and you've violated somebody else's trust. Yeah, that's not mannerly. All right, number 4, don't show off success. Oh my gosh. I have a designer this and a designer that, and I have a fancy car this and a fancy car that. And this is funny because I think sometimes senior leaders do this on accident, but they don't realize the impact they have. I actually sat in a room with a former leader, not my current leadership, a very high-ranking executive in our company, and she was talking about her Prada purse and talking about her Tesla and talking about all these things to a very low-level group of people who are I got my purse at Target, and I lucky if I drive a little Toyota, So it's why show that off? And maybe she just wasn't mindful of who she was talking to, and clearly different circles of people talk about different things. But show some humility. And frankly, that's all just crap. It's materialism. It's garbage. It matters nothing. And when you're showing stuff off like that, you're just being a jerk, and it's rude. Let others notice your success naturally, whatever that means, whatever success means to someone, because frankly, it means different things to different people. And all that material bullshit, it doesn't matter to me. That doesn't say success to me. What says success to me is how somebody else impacts other people's lives and the legacy that they leave like that. Did you help change lives? Did you make an impact? Did you set a good leadership example? So even then, be humble about it. All right, number 5, avoid whispering in groups. It makes others feel excluded. I can't tell you how many times I've encountered this. And I don't care if you're talking an executive to an executive and in front of like managers and your underlings, if you will. It is just so freaking rude. If it can't wait until later, then, just let it go. Or if there's something that you need to say and you're in a group setting, even then it's like, fine, text it. I don't like people on their phone in group settings, but whatever. That is just rude. It can wait till later. Don't do that. And that's not nice. Number 6, greet people when you enter a room. It sets a tone. Have you ever been where it's like super awkward? Somebody enters a room, doesn't say hi, doesn't say anything, goes and just sits at the table and starts working. It's like, okay, that's awkward. Just say hi. How are you? How's your day? And honestly, that opens people up. That sets the tone for the whole whatever's to come. Any room. Doesn't have to be at work too. It could be any room. Number 7, don't make plans in front of someone you're not inviting. It's very hurtful, which is very true. To me, that's so basic, but people still do it. Number 8, always return borrowed items in the same or better condition. Yeah, don't be that guy. Or at least give them back. Like, don't hold on to them for years or lose them or, something happened to them. Again, just respect what other people are lending you. Number 9, if someone looks uncomfortable, change the topic or setting. This is a very basic, I think, know your audience and read the room. And I say basic as in we should all be more mindful of people around us and having the emotional intelligence to read the room. But so many people don't because they're so in their own head with their own motive, blah, 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 yammering on. And sometimes those topics don't make other people uncomfortable. So read the room when you have those conversations. Number 10, don't correct someone publicly. Do it in private as needed. And that to me is, don't publicly reprimand someone. That's so shaming. They're so demoralizing, especially leaders. Don't you dare do this. Trust me when I understand there are a lot of things going on in meetings, things that people say or do or how they approach something. Stop in the hallway afterwards. Pull them into your office cube, to the side, something. That goes for peers too. I've done that with peers. It's like, wait until you're not in a massive group setting in front of people to do that. Correct them in private. Celebrate publicly, correct in privacy. All right, number 11, keep your volume in check in public places. Okay, my husband's like a total loud talker, and I always have to like tap his arm, like, bring the volume down. I'm right here. He doesn't even realize he's doing it. So just keep that in mind. I think this is especially an important manner when you're in restaurants, especially quiet restaurants. Like, it's different, I think, when you're in restaurants that just tend to be a little bit on the louder side, and then you're trying to talk louder to hear the other person. But when you're in a quiet, nice dining, and then you're the loud person in the room, it's like, oh my gosh, just check yourself. Keep your volume in check. All right, 12, respect people's time. Don't be late without a very good reason. This is such a pet peeve of mine. I make every effort to always be on time. If I'm meeting a friend, if I'm meeting someone, I know at work it gets tough when you're in back-to-back meetings and then you have to travel to conference rooms and stuff, which is awful. And there's something we need to figure out calendars better. Like, start meetings 5 minutes later intentionally or end 5 minutes earlier to give walk time. Let's go back to walk time at college, right? Or high school. I feel like this is something, though, especially if you're meeting a friend for dinner or lunch, it's like, it is so rude, and especially when it's unapologetic, or you have that friend who's just always late, and then they make it like it's a cute thing, like, oh, that's just me, I'm on my own time. It's like, no, that's not okay. That's rude. That's like, I am meeting you at this time, and you're 15, 20 minutes late, and it's like you blow it off like it's not a big deal. It's so disrespectful. Totally hit one of my pet peeves on that one. All right, number 13, don't dominate conversations, let others speak too. And this is something I have to check myself on because yes, I'm highly opinionated and I definitely tend to think on my feet more. There are some topics I digest, I come back, but for the most part, I'm a little quicker. But this is also really important when you're communicating with other cultures too, because there are a lot of other cultures, non-American cultures especially, that want to pause and think and be thoughtful about their responses. And it's so easy to fill the dead air, so easy just to keep talking, especially for me who, okay, well, with the dead air, it's very awkward. But you know what? Enjoy the silence, embrace the silence. Let other people have that space and silence to talk if they want to. All right, number 14, laugh with people, not at them. I'm going to caveat this in that I do like to play practical jokes and pranks, but I think it's also like making sure you're doing that with someone who you're close with, a friend, and not like a cruel prank that everyone's picking on the person in the office. Like, really use your discernment in those situations. I think most of the time, this is definitely a mannerly thing to do, is to laugh with people, not at people. Number 15, if you cancel plans, do it early and respectfully. Yeah, don't be coming in hot. I've had actually people cancel on me when I'm already at the location that we agreed to meet. And that it's one thing if like, oh, I suddenly got sick and had to pull over, or I got a call, emergency, I have to go pick up my kid. Like, that's different. But there are some people who are just like, oh yeah, I totally forgot and I can't get out of bed, so we're not going to meet. That's just rude. Just rude. Be courteous. All right, number 16, avoid bringing up sensitive topics unless they do first. I think just generally this goes back to emotional intelligence and conversations. And especially as leaders, it's really important to read the person you're talking to, read the room. And again, I don't want to say tiptoe around things. I think there's some things that are very personal and you don't really have a right to necessarily ask about. But you also want to make sure that you present yourself in a way like, hey, you can talk to me about anything. It doesn't have to be work related. It can be personal. It can be whatever's on your mind. Making sure that you're creating a very psychologically safe space for people to have those conversations with you. But more often than not, bringing up sensitive topics to someone will just make them feel uncomfortable. And that's not manners. All right, 17. Ooh, it's a list, right? Hold on, I'm sipping. All right, never gossip about someone that you wouldn't confront directly. And yes, this is really, really, really important because, especially I think as leaders, I have opinions about people and I will share them at times, especially if it's about partners. And I tend to probably be a little more transparent with my team than other people because I don't look at leadership as like hierarchical nonsense of I'm better than you just because you happen to be in an org chart under me. Like, we're humans and we're going to work together. Yes, I might have more in terms of accountability for the people in my charge, and I take that very personally, very seriously. But I also think I'm not better than you, so I don't hold information like, oh, well, because I'm a senior leader, then I can hold information from you because I'm better than you. It's like, no, they're humans and we're all adults here. How else are they going to learn about what it means to grow in their own leadership? So anyway, back to the point at hand, never gossip about someone you wouldn't confront directly. I absolutely agree with this. It's like I might say stuff in rooms that are frustrating about what partner said or did or how something happened, but believe you me, I will always have that conversation directly with that person. Don't be a hypocrite. Don't talk smack behind someone's back and then act nice to their face. Oh, that should have been number one on this list for me in terms of manners. That is rude, disrespectful, and just frankly cowardly. If you have something to say and you have enough to say it to someone else, go to the person and deal with it and have a conversation. That's the epitome of manners. And to take out all of just the dissension and toxicity that you're creating as a leader if you're acting like that. If you're saying something to one person and not saying something else to their face, zero respect for you. You're not a good leader and you shouldn't be in a leadership position or any position, frankly, because you're not a good human. That you don't deal directly with conflict with someone or talk smack behind someone's back. Oh, it's the worst. Anyway, number 18, don't brag. Let your actions speak for you. Now, I know this is tricky when it comes to like in a job interview, you do have to sell yourself, or, you do want to make sure that, especially as a leader, I'm always trying to figure out how do I help my team shine to my upper leadership, because they think they know what's going on. They really don't. They're not in the trenches. And frankly, they don't want to be in the trenches, and they shouldn't be in the trenches with you. But what are the ways and things that you can do to brag on your team? But don't brag on yourself. Like, that's just bad form. Like, I did this and I did that and I did this. It's like, that's not serving others. It's not being a team player. That's not helping others. I think the more you actually shine the light on others and you are a team player and you bring people together with you, the more you are going to look good. Your actions are going to speak for you. So don't be a braggart. All right, number 19. If someone drops something, help without being asked. It is so kind. Like, if I drop something, I'm a little older and more overweight, so it takes me a little bit longer to bend over and get to the floor and pick things up than it maybe does like, a 20-something. But regardless, I when someone is walking down a hall and drops something, or I've had people, they drop their wallet, they drop, a piece of paper, I am always like, hey, let me get that for you. Even in public, just walking down the street. I can't tell you how many times I've picked up sunglasses for people and whatnot. It's just a kind thing to do. Number 20, don't overshare on social media about private matters. I know some people use social media as their therapy. It's not a good look, and it's just putting so much detail and privacy. I think it's different when you're sharing a loss of someone, because I feel like some of that is also communicating that someone had passed away, and this is, their obituary, and this is like the services and stuff. This is talking about like just, some of those deep overshares. It's like, I always step back and go, why do they feel the need to share that in their feed, like publicly to their whole community? To me, it does feel like a cry for help. So often what I will do is direct message them and try to start a one-on-one conversation with them and see, hey, what's really going on and can I help? But yeah, just be sensitive about what you're sharing. I wish on this list was don't share all your political viewpoints about everything on social media, because I feel like, whose mind are you trying to change? I don't think it's going to change anybody's mind, and all you're doing is putting more anger and frustration and stuff out there. And again, I'm guilty of it. I've done it a few times where I've shared things, but for me, the few things I've shared, to me, wasn't really political. It was more like I get really upset at anti-Semitism, and so I will post like I'm pro-Israel and I'm pro the Jewish people, and this is not cool. So I don't feel like that's politics. I feel like that's actually an ally to a community of people, but some people just get all like, woo, crazy on there, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna just keep posting pictures of my cat and my travels, but in food. Don't forget food. All right, sorry. Number 21, when someone is grieving, listen more than you speak. It's a hard one. It's a hard one for me too, because I'm a fixer by nature. I want to fix, I want to activate, I want to do something to help make them feel better. But with grief, just listening, just being there, just being that caring person. You don't have to say all the cliches. You don't have to try to fix and sort through it. Just listen. Just pause and listen. Number 22, tip service workers generously and respectfully. Now, I could have a whole podcast about how I feel about tipping culture, because I have lots of opinions about it. I wish it didn't exist. I wish it was, we paid everyone a fair wage, and tipping was an above and beyond type of thing that you could do to just show some extra gratitude, not an expectation. But I do believe that if someone is working hard for you and doing their job for you, and we know that that's sadly, especially in the States, and I know tipping's also different culturally and by country, but I know in the States, they literally, I've been a server, by the way, and I've been a busser and a sodager, and I've done the things where you do expect the tips because you're living and working for your tips. So if somebody is working hard for it, living for their tips, then yes, be generous and be respectful if it's earned. Number 23, clean up after yourself in shared spaces always. Yeah, don't be a pig. I mean, if you want to be a pig at home and you want to have, messy stuff and gross food and whatever, that's your house. I don't care what you do. But if you're in public spaces and shared spaces, it's just respectful. Wipe down the water from counters, leave places better than what you arrived at them, I think is always something my grandma used to teach me. So, but at minimum, just clean up after yourself. Number 24, don't pressure people to share or open up. Let them choose. I am someone who is an open book. I don't mind talking about anything and everything. I don't even mind if people ask me anything and everything. But not everybody's like that, and I know that. And so it's not fair to pressure other people to be that way or open up. I know I have friends that they struggle with opening. Heck, I married somebody who struggles with opening up and communicating, and I'm always trying to get it out of him. But honestly, even with my own husband, it's funny. It's like when I back off and I don't pressure and I just let him know, hey, I'm here when you want to talk, or if you want to talk, is typically when he will actually then choose to come and talk to me. So you have to let people be ready. And that is such a critical leadership discernment, if you will, to know like, hey, I'm here for you and I want you to know that. And it's totally up to them to share or open up. Let them choose. Let them be the one to choose their timing, their choice. All right. We're almost there. I promise. More coffee. All right. Number 25. Respect no as a complete answer. No need for explanations. This is a funny one too, because it's like we think we're owed so much. Again, going back to what I was saying earlier, it's like that entitled society of no. When someone says no, what do you mean no? Explain yourself, because really they're just upset that it's violating their need, right? That's the only reason that they might be upset about something. So I find this one really entertaining because it completely aligns with what we were talking earlier. It's like if you ask someone to do something and they say no, you shouldn't need an explanation. Now, I will caveat to say I think there is reason, like in the work environment, if you need a team member to like assign them something and they say no, I do think it's okay to say why or why not. And better yet, they should offer up an explanation in those senses. But there's so many other situations like, do you want to go see a movie? Do you want to do this? Do you want to? No, I'm all right. Like, or no, thank you. Or even offering to get somebody coffee or a food, or would you like a cookie? No, thank you. Why not? Like, calm down. Like, we don't need to ask for explanations for everything, right? All right, number 26. Don't make jokes at someone else's expense. Oof, I'm so guilty of this. Hold on, I'm drinking again. But I will say it's mainly with friends I know I can joke with, and we have that kind of relationship where we tease each other. But also, that's a good check-in for me too, because am I making jokes at their expense in front of people who don't get that relationship and don't understand that this is what we do and tease? I was just in a meeting Thursday, actually, and somebody I've known for a very, very long time, and he and I've always just like teased each other, giving each other crap. It's all in love. I love the guy. He's so funny. He's a good friend. But I did pause and go to the other people in the room, because it was at work, that, he and I've known each other for like 20 years. Like, we're very good friends. It's just our relationship. Like, please know that it's not me being mean or him being mean to me, So I think that you do have to be careful and discerning of like when you're doing that. All right, number 27. When you borrow time, return it with value. And this goes to like if someone does something for you, if you need a friend and you're out for coffee and you're talking their ear off because you're going through stuff in life. I feel like so many people are takers in this world, but they don't give it back. They don't pay it forward. They just, I do have people in my life, sadly, I only hear from them when they want something. And it makes me sad, or even family members for that matter. I only hear from them when they want something. And it is such a bummer, and it's not cool. And I definitely have to set certain boundaries for myself in order to protect myself of doing too much for that person without the return. But truly, I check my heart, because, I'm a person of faith too. And it's like, all right, here's where it's like, is this a kindness that I should be doing without any return, right? And that's okay. And that is how you serve people, right? But I also want to, as a leader especially, show people that when I borrow time, then I'm going to return it with value, that I am going to pay it forward, and I am going to return in kindness. So I'm not that selfish person absorbing everybody else's time and energy. I'm also going to give it back. All right, number 28. If you witness kindness, acknowledge it. It encourages it more. even little things, pay attention to when someone says, "Oh, you did such a good job on that," or "Oh my gosh, I love your dress." Like, even, I know it sounds silly, but I will even say, like, "Oh, it's so sweet of you to compliment her. And you know what? You look great today too." Like, pay it forward, like, get that love going. Like, truly, the world needs more of that, and it encourages more when you do that. Number 29, stay kind even when no one's watching. It defines true character. I feel like these days, though, someone's always watching. And that might be just you don't know someone's there. There's cameras everywhere. I mean, even when you go to the UK, you got CCTV everywhere. But regardless of that, right? It's just the right thing to do. And what you do in private, you're going to do in public. So always be kind. 30, don't one up someone's story. Just listen and relate. All right, I'm going to sip on this one for a second. I know people that do this where it's like they can't just let someone tell their story and what they're doing. They always have to either one up and it's like, "Oh yeah, I did that too," or "Oh, well, I went there and I went there," or da da da. And it's like, it's rude and it's disrespectful because you're basically saying, again, let's turn the conversation to me and not you. Just listen. But being relatable is fine. And I think, to be fair, sometimes those people think that that's what they're doing, just relating to them. But really what you're doing is you're kind of one-upping and stealing their thunder. It's like that Friends episode when, Rachel stole Monica's thunder. It's not cool. Like, don't do it. All right, number 31. If you're wrong, admit it. Admit it. And without excuse. Like, if you're flat out wrong, you did something wrong, just own it. Don't try to make excuses about it or the reason. It's like the bigger person would be like, "Yeah, I can give you an explanation as to why I was wrong, but not an excuse." And yes, those are very different things. It's just like, I know I've talked on my podcast before, but, when I think about rough childhoods, like, I had a rough childhood, definitely. But, like, my little brother and I had the same childhood. I mean, he was definitely treated differently, and I get it. We're two different people. But he made really bad choices in life. I mean, we all have our share of bad choices, but he's literally in jail for life. So really bad choices, right? Unlawful choices. And he tries to blame our childhood. And I'm like, look, childhood could be an explanation as to why you made the decisions you did, but it's not an excuse. You still made a series of very poor decisions. Just own it. And you were wrong. Own it. And there's something like good in owning it. Anyway, that's a whole nother podcast. I'm going to keep going. Number 32. We're almost there. You still hanging with me? Never mock someone else's appearance, body type, accent, or job. Don't mock people. It's so rude and not mannerly and just unkind. Remember, kindness. We're leaders who are kind. Not nice, because nice is like, oh, that's like oh, I'm just being polite. I'm smiling and nodding, but you're not real. That's different. And that's what I was talking about earlier when people are fake to your face and they're hypocrites. Hate that. But kindness is truly like something where you're doing something for someone. You're caring, you're listening, you're leaning in to someone. That is completely different. And actually, telling someone the truth and having tough conversations, that's kindness, as opposed to talking behind their back. All right, number 33. When introduced, remember names. It shows you care. Now, I know as someone who's getting old, I used to have the best memory for names, and it gets harder as I get older, but do your best. There's all kinds of those memory tricks, say their name 3 times, write it down somewhere. But even if it's just when you're introduced, saying, "How do you do?" and shake hands, and "Nice to meet you," and "Nice to meet you, Karen," "Nice to meet you, George," like truly leaning into that, it does show that you care. 34, respect quiet people. They often observe more than they speak. This is for my highly introverted friends too. I think earlier in my career, I didn't really understand introverts as much. And ironically, most of my friends tend to be introverts. I am an extrovert. I do get my energy from being around people. However, as I think also as I get older, I have a little more ambivert in me, if you will. Like, it's not that I don't like my me time and like my downtime to read a book and have quiet space and prayer time and devotion time and all of that. It's healthy, right? We should all be doing that. But quiet people, this is like also in meetings, right? Like the person that just doesn't speak up. But then you got to love the people who don't speak up. And then all of a sudden they'll say something super profound. So it's like because they're probably observing more and taking it more in and digesting more, then what they're going to say is going to add even more to the situation too. So respect it. Respect the quiet. 35, don't post pictures of others without their permission. That, again, total manners, politeness. Don't post all over social media. You don't know if someone is like, please don't post that of me. Or I've had friends that have stalkers and they want to be kept offline. And, there's all kinds of reasons. Just respect it. Just because you want to be an open book on social media doesn't mean everybody else does. I always ask before I post someone's picture or tag them in a photo that I post. It just shows respect. And then last, did you hang in there with me? I know this was a long one today, but I thought these were good. Number 36, give credit where credit is due. Do not steal ideas or praise. That is the epitome of not just manners, but integrity. And I actually do believe that integrity and manners go hand in hand, because I feel like integrity is the choice that you make to have that strong character of honesty, showing kindness, not being a gossip, all those things, right? Like that's the integrity. But the manners is in how you display integrity in your actions towards others. All right, so get out there, leaders. Show your manners and say, how do you do? And shake hands, because that's manners. Thank you for having a cup of coffee with me. For more sips and tips, connect with me on social and follow Leader Sips on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. And don't forget to visit my website, carlinholbrook.com. Until next time, keep on brewing.